Hi. I'm going on a trip. But this time I'm not going to camp. I'm staying in a cabin. I'm not alone this time. I brought one of the biggest dogs you could possibly fit into the Jimny with me. But you'll see him or her in a bit. So I'm staying at the cabin this time and not in the Jimny. I mean, the temperature right now isn't that bad. It's 1 degree Celsius. I've had colder nights in the Jimny, but I think it will get below that tonight, and I'm hoping at least that it will get colder. As I arrived at the lake, I have to be honest, I was slightly disappointed that there was so little snow lying around. I watched the weather forecast from home, but I was hoping for more snow. As I got onto the ice, I quickly forgot about the little snow. And a few hours later, I had all my things from the car in the cabin and finally could enjoy dinner. It has been snowing in the night, just a little bit, like this much. But everything is now white and looks like winter. That's nice. Chili, the dog, had to get used to those temperatures. In the morning it was like 9 degrees Celsius in the cabin. Scary noises from the ice. The cabin does not have running water, and electricity only comes from 2 small solar panels. And we have water. And even though there was no sunshine, the snow made the scenery beautiful. And after getting used to the ice again, we went for a short walk. And compared to the summer, the days in the winter are really short. It's only 6 hours of sunshine and then it gets dark again. When I'm on the road with the Jimny, there is always something to do. Most of the time it's driving. But there is no time to get bored. So before this trip I was wondering if I would get bored alone in the forest. And then I thought, maybe it's good to get bored. And it definitely is good to get bored. We aren't used to boredom anymore with our phones, social media, and all that stuff. According to the weather forecast, there was gonna be snow on the next day. So I wanted to enjoy it and did my grocery shopping on the day before that. Overall, the weather forecast wasn't looking that good. It was pretty warm. During the day it was slightly over 0 degrees and it wasn't freezing every night. And that wouldn't be a problem if I would not have to go over the ice. And with that in mind, I was slightly nervous about how the ice would be on the end of the trip. I went to the store and bought some beer. But that was far away and no need to worry at this point. Okay, now we have that. Now it's time to make dinner. It was time for pizza. And after a delicious dinner, I went to bed knowing that there was gonna be snow on the next day. Snow just changes everything. The landscape I know so well suddenly feels different, quiet, almost frozen in time. There's something magical about watching the snowfall, covering everything in a soft, untouched blanket. Well, I've been thinking a lot about camping in the winter. With the Jimny, of course. One day I really want to try it, but right now I'm not prepared for that. I think the sleeping part wouldn't be the problem when camping too, if you have the red sleeping bag. The problem is getting up. And then it's gonna be cold. Here I can fire up the oven and then after 20-30 minutes it's warm again. But when camping, that's cold. It was cold already when I was camping at September in the north. And it was like 0 degrees or -1. But yeah. Then the next problem is, how do I keep my water watery and not frozen? There are many things that don't work like they do in the summer or when it's not winter. But waking up to this, that might be worth it. The next morning, I woke up to even more snow. Knowing that it wouldn't last very long, I enjoyed every second. It looks beautiful, but it makes everything a little bit harder. The snow had gotten to a point where Chili couldn't really walk, and she didn't want to walk. And slowly the snow dream was fading away. Everything started to melt. Yes, it was cold in the wind. And it felt like the weather was changing. If I didn't know better, I wouldn't believe that this was the day after. It had rained all through the night, and it looked like that there hadn't been any snow the day before. And with all the melted snow, there was so much water on the ice. My worries about the ice came back. But at this point I knew that the ice was thick enough and strong enough to be able to hold my weight. And I don't want to risk anything, so I always go on the ice with my ice picks, and I highly recommend you do the same. Well, it was good for Chili that she could walk outside again. And the next day, I wasn't alone anymore at the lake. the neighbors from the other side of the lake arrived. And if you watch closely, you might recognize this dog. He belongs to the friend I visited in Switzerland. And he also appears to be our neighbor. As the next few days went by, snow fell down every now and then, but the weather couldn't really decide. There were not many days left, and I went for a short drive. Got some groceries, but mainly wanted to enjoy the little bit that's left of the winter wonderland. Time to have a little fun. Ah? Do you recognize the Jimny? And the dog? The last few days I didn't do that much. The days are still very short. It gets dark pretty quickly, so after a visit at the neighbor's house, it's time to get back to the cabin. As you can see, Juno is a faithful companion. He always brought us safely across the ice to the cabin and made sure we got home.
Oh, slow living can be life-giving, although we might disagree. If most our lives are lived in black and white, it makes the gray so hard to see. The same old people,
And with the
same old steel
most beautiful sunshine
on every
and the best weather of the whole trip,
half a mile.
it was time to get the stuff
But
out of the
nothing
cabin
changes.
and back into the chimney
It's strange
and
that
head home.
we didn't
Come. Chili didn't want to go.
as a child. That slow living can be life-giving, although we might disagree. If most our lives are lived in black and white, it makes the gray so hard to see. Living in a dry state where we all say grace, buying liquor on a Sunday across the county lines, where the raindrops rolling off the rooftops, making the clouds stop for just a little while. Oh, slow living can be life-giving, although we might disagree.